All right, man. Pick six and George Pickens. He is now with them boys, right? With the Cowboys. Okay, what is it? What is it with the Steelers? There seems to be some sort of curse when it comes with talented receivers and the Steelers. Ever since Hines Ward. Hines Ward is the last one. And there's something in common with all this, all right? Hines Ward was the last one, man, that was a true Steeler, good receiver, talented. Ever since then, the Steelers have had issues, major issues with receivers, talented ones. And the thing that they all have in common is that it's all under Mike Tomlin. Now, I'm not saying Mike Tomlin is the problem. Maybe he is. There's a lot of people that don't like Mike Tomlin. I've always defended Mike Tomlin for the most part. And yeah, I don't know, like the last 2 seasons or so, I've kind of turned the page and like, I don't know, man. Maybe it is time to let him go. Look, I'm not saying he's the issue. He could be. Okay? It's like, whenever there's a talented receiver, there has to be some sort of drama. Now, I don't know if they're just picking a bunch of drama queens or it's just the atmosphere, the culture, the Steeler culture, that it doesn't vibe well with certain receivers. But it seems whenever there's a talented receiver with the Steelers, it doesn't go well. All right, we could go, the list is long, man, from, Santonio Holmes and Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. The list keeps going on and on and on. And I don't know what it is. Whenever there's a receiver, like I said, Hines Ward is the last one. He's the last one. Ever since Hines Ward, it's like that's it, man. Just receiver. Oh man, we got a good, talented receiver here. Oh, there's issues in the locker room, issues with the team. Oh, an attitude issue. There's issues with every receiver almost. Like, good gosh, man, I don't know what it is. Now, George Pickens going down with the Cowboys, right? Helping out the team down there with CeeDee Lamb and those guys down there. Yeah, man, I think it's really going to make a difference with that team. I do. I actually now favor them with the NFC East. I do. George Pickens, it could be the team culture. All right? It could be the team culture. George Pickens wanted the spotlight on him. All right? He wanted the spotlight on him. He wanted to be the superstar. He wanted to be the look at me kind of guy. That's the Cowboys. Okay? That's their culture. And it always has been. The Cowboys are that team. The Cowboys are the, hey, you know what? Let me floss. Have the spotlight on me. Look at me. Show up in your fancy cars and, wear your fur coats and have the cameras all over you. And that's them. The cool kid on, the cool kid on the block. The Steelers are a little bit more blue collar, rough around the edges, kind of, hey, keep the spotlight away and just, put your hard hat on and go to work, kind of, that's the Steelers kind of culture more than the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a little bit more flamboyant, want the cameras around, look at us, right? Where the Steelers are a little bit more like, hey, man, we're just keeping our head down, putting our hard hats on, and you know what? We're going to work. We got callus on our hands, man. We're roughnecks. So maybe he fits in with that culture a little bit more. But again, I go back to, it's like, what is the issue with the talented receivers in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization? Ever since Hines Ward, it's like that was it. there always has to be a problem when we have a good, talented receiver. When the Steelers have a good, talented receiver, there always has to be some sort of issue, some sort of drama. And I can't figure it out. And it just happens to be that it's during the Mike Tomlin era, which is the longest era in Steelers history. So I'm just kind of like, I'm perplexed. Like, what the heck, man? Now, they get rid of him. They trade him right after the draft, by the way. And it's like, the Steelers have a lot of issues, okay? The Steelers have a lot of issues. Quarterback is probably the biggest one, all right? It's probably the biggest one. Here's the thing about the Steelers. When it comes to the Steelers, there is no such thing as a rebuilding year. That does not exist with the Steelers. All right? That is loser talk. The Steelers do not believe in rebuilding seasons. Every season, you're going for it. There is no such thing as rebuilding season. That is for all those other teams, man. That is for the Raiders, the Falcons, the Jaguars and Browns and Bengals and all those other teams. You guys know what rebuilding season is? That means that whole season is a preseason to you. You're treating the whole regular season as a preseason. Steelers don't do that. You're the Pittsburgh Steelers, homie. There is no such thing as a rebuilding season for the Steelers. That's for all those other teams. Not for the Steelers. And now it's looking like we're going to have a rebuilding season, which is the anti-Steeler way. Now you're going to go and have some sort of rebuilding season like the rest of those yahoos?
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Like, come on, man. What the heck is going on here? Now, was he that bad of a cancer in the locker rooms? There's reports coming out that players are saying no, actually he wasn't. So was it problems with the coaching that George Pickens had? Was it a problem with the front office? What was it? Because there's players coming out and saying like, nah, actually he was actually kind of cool in the locker room. Now, they may just be saying that. Okay? They may just be saying that to the cameras. But good gosh, man. Lost the best player offensively. Like, goodness gracious, man. And I get it. Look, the Steelers have always been a defensive team. Even though they have had explosive offense. All right? Son of a gun. I mean, look, the Cowboys, I think he'll fit down there. I think he will. Now, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how him and CeeDee Lamb kind of cope. Because one thing that we learned, okay, as a Steeler fan, one thing that I learned, George Pickens, he wants the ball. He wants the spotlight on him. That's what I'm saying. The cowboy culture, that's their culture. All right, the flossy, flamboyant, the jewelry, the cool cars, and hey, everybody look at us, pay attention to us, bring all the cameras, and hey, well, wear the fur coats and everything. That's their culture. That's not really the Steeler culture. Steeler culture is, hey, it ain't about you, it's about the team. All right, just get to work. Don't floss for the cameras. Just get to work. Grind, right? Blood, sweat, and tears, right? That's more of the Steeler culture. So he might fit in well down there, but at the same time, man, is he going to try to take over too much of the spotlight? I don't know. But I will say this. If he does gel well with the Cowboys, man, they could be a force to be reckoned with. Because remember, The Steelers quarterback position was all jacked up. Pickens had so many different arms throwing to him. So many different arms throwing to him. So, I mean, he couldn't really get in sync with one quarterback because he had all these different arms just throwing him the ball. So, man, well, we'll see what happens. And, man, this season, dog, there is no such thing as a Steelers rebuilt season. However, I will say this, okay? The worst thing you can do in the NFL is be average. That is the absolutely worst thing you can do. You either got to be up here or you got to be down here. But if you're right in the middle, if you're right on that Mason-Dixon line, that is the worst that you can do. I'd rather you be way down here. Because if you're right here, you're right at average. Well, you're not bad enough, but you're not good enough either. And that's where all the arguments are. Hey, we need to make changes. Well, we're not bad enough to make that many changes. Hey, we need to do this. We need to do that. Well, we're good enough. So, you know, I don't know, man. Maybe they do need a tank, but that's not the Steeler way, homie. That is not the Steeler way. Okay, there is no such thing as a Steelers rebuilt season. Doesn't exist. That's all those other teams, man. Let the Raiders do that. Let the Falcons do that. Let all those other teams, man. Steelers don't do that. Let the Jets do that. Let, you know, all the other teams do that. But again, hey, maybe they do need a tank. Maybe they need a tank all the way to the bottom. Maybe we don't need to have any more of this. Hey, man, Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season. Maybe that does need to go. All right, man, I'm done ranting. I was actually going to blow a fuse, but woosai, calm myself down. Man, what kind of season is it going to be? All right, man, pick six. Hey, that's all I got for you guys. You guys be good. I'll catch you guys on next one.